Alrighty, here is our Unit 2, Part 1, Study Guide, page 2. We're going to start off up here with some subtraction. So we've got 98 and 5/10 minus, remember to line the numbers up around the decimal point, 4 and 1300ths. So this is like $98.50. This is like $4.13. So we would expect to get something in the 90s, right? Because $98 minus $4, 90 something, okay? All right, so we're going to do some subtraction here. We can't take 3 away from 0, so we regroup, borrowing from the 5, making that a 4 and this a 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. Don't make the mistake of thinking this answer is 3 here. And then 4 minus 1 is 3. Bring down that decimal point. 8 minus 4 is 4. And bring down 9. 9 minus 0 is 0. So 94 and 3700ths. All right, our next one. 484 and 2400ths minus 28 and 431 thousandths. So it's $480 minus $28. So I'm expecting to get something in the 400 range when I'm done with this problem. All right, so 485 and 2400ths. Put in my decimal point for my second number. The 8 falls here, the 2 falls here, 431. Add a 0. Remember that I'm subtracting. We can't take 1 away from 0, so we have to borrow from here, making that a 3 and this a 10. 10 minus 1 is 9, and then 3 minus 3 is 0. Can't take 4 away from 2, so borrow from here, make that a 12. 12 minus 4 is 8. Bring down our decimal point right there. Can't take 8 away from 4, so borrow. 8 from 14 is 6. 2 from 7 is 5. And we have a 4. So 456 and 809 thousandths. All right, now we're moving on to some multiplication here. So we're going to not worry about lining up the decimals at all. When we multiply, we want the larger number on the top. That'll make our work easier for us. And we don't care if those decimal points line up or not. In fact, we don't even care about the decimal points until the end of the problem. We could do the problem without our decimals in there and then add them at the end if we wanted to. 2.18 or 2 and 1800ths times 3 and 5/10. All right, so 5 times 8 is 40. Put down the 0, carry my 1. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 4 is 9. 5 times 2 is 10. Not paying any attention at all to those decimals. Add a 0 because I'm moving over a place. 3 times 8 is 16. 24. Sorry about that. 3 times 8 is 24. Not sure where 16 came from. Carry my 2 there. And then 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. And 3 times 2 is 6. So now we add everything up. 0, 13, carry my 1, 6, 7. And now we count 1, 2, 3 spaces behind the decimal point in the problem. So 1, 2, 3 spaces behind the decimal point in the answer. And we can always drop off those end zeros, the zeros at the end of a multiplication, decimal number. So 7 and 6300ths is our answer. All right, let's look at our next problem here. 13 and 2600ths times 40 and 1/10. 6 times 1 is 6. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 1 is 1. Add a 0. Now, we're multiplying by 0, so all I'm going to get here is just a bunch of zeros. So I'm just going to ignore that. There's just all be zeros. So I'm going to go down here and add 2 zeros, or we could have done that right there even. All right, and then 4 times 6 is 24. Carry my 2. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 more is 10. Carry my 1. 4 times 3 is 12, and 1 is 13. Put down my 3, carry my 1. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. All right, add it all up. 6. 2, 7, 1, 3, and 5. Now, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So 531 and 726 thousandths. All right, now we're going to move on to that division. Okay, so remember the first number goes in the house. So this is 0 and 78 hundredths. And the second number goes out of the house. Bring our decimal straight up. There's no decimal out here to have to swoop, so don't worry about that. 4 divides into 0, 0 times. 4 divides into 7 once. 1 times 4 is 4. Subtract 4 from 7, we get 3. Bring down our 8. 4 divides into 38 9 times. 9 times 4 is 36. Subtract our 36, we get 2. We don't have remainders, so we add a 0. Bring it down. Notice I didn't add a 0 up here. The only time I add a 0 up here is when I cannot divide into a bring down. 4 divides into 25 times. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 minus 20 is 0. So now we're finished, and our answer is 0 and 195 thousandths. All right, next problem, 36 and 12 hundredths divided by 6. This number in the house, this number out of the house. 36 and 12 hundredths divided by 6. 6 doesn't divide into 3. Could put a 0 here if you like. 6 divides into 36 6 times. 6 times 6 is 36. Subtract and we get a 0. Now, bring down the 1. Notice this is a bring down. 6 can't divide into 1, so since that was a bring down, I'm going to put a 0 up here. I did forget to bring that decimal point up. Don't forget to bring that decimal point up. All right, now we've taken care of that. 6 can't divide into 1, so we put a 0 up there and bring down our 2. And of course, 6 divides into 12 2 times. So be careful with those bring downs. You've got to show that they can't divide in by putting a 0 up there, that the divisor can't divide into a bring down by putting a 0 in the quotient. All right, our answer then is 6 and 2 hundredths. 6 and 2 hundredths. All right, that's page 2. Tune into the next video for page 3.